Hi, I'm Jaydon Souter and I am part of the core team at the Legal Amity. My role at the Legal Amity is Head of Legal Blogs and Updates, and today we're doing an Insider Info series with Bethany. Bethany, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Bethany. I'm a Solicitor Apprentice in a firm based in Kent, and I'm a third-year apprentice.
Brilliant. So we've got a couple of questions for you to ask you, sorry. And the first one is, how did you come across your role, and do you have any advice for those thinking of this route?
Okay, yeah, so how I came across the Solicitor Apprenticeship, it kind of just fell into my lap. I never applied for uni when I was in sixth form, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Always been interested in law, but again, didn't want to commit to university just yet, so I applied for lots of different roles, admin roles. I never actually applied for an apprenticeship role. I didn't know they existed. The solicitor apprenticeship, I applied for a few paralegal ones, so just applied for admin, office junior roles, got into the firm that I'm with now, and they approached me and said, we've found this solicitor apprenticeship, do you want to give it a go? And the rest is history, basically. So yeah, they just kind of came to me and gave me all the information. I did a few inductions with the university, a few videos looking online just to see what it was about, give them a few calls, and just went for it. So yeah, but I think my advice would be, especially the way that I found it, is literally just to put yourself out there. You're going to experience knockbacks. Maybe you can't find an apprenticeship vacancy. Just apply to loads of different firms, say that you're happy to be an office junior, you're happy to be a secretary, just get your foot in the door in the first instance, and then maybe even approach them afterwards and said, look, I've seen this online, or see if they're willing to do it. Also, to show a lot of willingness and flexibility. Like I said, if you just put out there and say, I'm happy to be an office junior, I'm happy to be a secretary, just show that you're willing to do all the little tasks that no one really wants to do. Then you're probably going to get rewarded in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like you really enjoy it then.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, it's good. No,
that's
definitely.
Good. So another question we've got is, why the solicitor apprenticeship route, and what are the key benefits of doing this type of route?
Okay, yeah. So again, I didn't know it existed before this. So it wasn't necessarily that I went out there and said, I'm going to do the solicitor apprentice route. It was because I didn't apply for uni, and I just didn't really know what was out there. Yeah, I applied for some paralegal apprenticeships, got a few knockbacks. I got through to the interview stage, progressed a bit further, was unsuccessful. And then so I applied for the admin role there, and then the solicitor apprenticeship role, because I thought for me it'd be good that I'm not committed to the uni debt, which is a big one for me, especially when I wasn't 100% if that was something that I wanted to do. The fact that I was earning a salary there, I think that's a great benefit. Also, the practical element is why I picked that route, because I'm having my degree, or I'm learning my degree and obtaining a law degree, as well as having to practically work in the law firm. So that's a big one for me. I learn quite practically. I learn being taught something and then doing it again and again and again until it's kind of drilled into my head. So I think that's why I decided to go down the solicitor apprenticeship route.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds really interesting, and there's definitely a lot of benefits to being a solicitor apprentice as opposed to the traditional route of into law anyway.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the key benefits would be you're no student debt, you're earning a salary, the experience is a big one. I don't know any university that can offer you that kind of experience firsthand for 5-6 years, whilst you're also studying. So that's a big one. You're getting a lot of commercial awareness, which I've also seen recently. That's a big thing that firms want. They don't just want you to know the legal side and know how to do the legal side, but also know how a firm's run, know how the business is run, networking, things like that. And also with a solicitor apprenticeship route, you kind of have a bit more security that there could be a job for you at the end of it. Obviously, trainee roles are very far and few between. But at the end of the apprenticeship, you're a fully qualified solicitor, obviously if you've completed it successfully, and you kind of have that bit of security that if you've proved yourself and the firm's kept you for that many years, they're probably going to keep you afterwards, which is quite nice.
Definitely, definitely. But what made you choose Hallett Co rather than the city firm?
Okay, so as I said, getting the job at Hallett Co and then becoming a solicitor apprentice at Hallett Co, it kind of just fell into my lap. As I said, I applied for the office junior role and just got in there as an admin assistant and that. So I didn't necessarily decide, right, I'm going for a town firm over a commercial firm. It's just what happened at the time. And I wasn't really aware of all this big debate over commercial firms and high street firms and standalone firms until I started researching into the solicitor apprenticeship route, until Hallett approached me about it. But now, like, reflecting back on it, I actually think that it's worked for the better for me, especially at Hallett Co, where it's a high street firm. So there's about 70 of us in total, so that includes all members of staff. And I kind of, I feel a bit more included in the firm because it's a smaller firm, so I get involved in a lot of the social events, I help arrange the charity events, so I feel like everyone can be included and feel a bit more of a team that way. Also, as a high street firm, I feel like I get a bit more exposure, so I get to experience all areas of law that we do. So we do residential property, commercial property, litigation, employment. We do a range of things. But where I'm the only solicitor apprentice there, I kind of get pulled from pillow to post and I get to try everything. It's also quite nice because I get to see the whole running of a file. So when I was in the property department, I got to do everything from pre-exchange all the way to post-exchange, all the way to registration. So I got to see the whole transaction, which I feel like you don't get as much in a commercial firm because you'll just be in one stage of the process. So I quite like that. Also, as I said, I feel quite secure there. I feel like, hopefully, touch wood, they'd keep me afterwards, just because I was there working with them before I went for the apprenticeship route. I'm going to be there with them throughout. They're a small firm, so I feel like there's space for me. I feel like I'm not competing as much. I get a lot of one-on-one support with all the solicitors because I'm not fighting for attention as much, if that makes sense. So I feel like it really has worked for the best for me. And also I get a lot of client contact, which I really, really enjoy, especially working in the litigation department at the minute. I get to do lots of meetings with the clients, speak to them over the phone. So I get to really get involved in the case, which I really, really like.
Yeah, I think one-to-one is like something that's quite important, isn't it? Because it just develops you as a person and as a professional as well, for definite.
Definitely, and I think definitely with a route like the solicitor apprenticeship route, I mean, Hallett's didn't offer that before I joined. They didn't really know about it. I think when I joined, it was actually the first year that they were starting it, so they didn't really know what they were doing. I didn't really know what I was doing, so we get to support one another and work through it, which is quite nice.
Do you have any tips and tricks in conducting your day-to-day activities to ensure high quality, such as drafting legal documents?
My biggest tip, which has taken quite a long time to learn, but organisation is key. I would say that I'm a very organised person. I think I was organised before I joined Hallett. But don't underestimate the importance of organisation. The apprenticeship route is a lot of work. It differs from uni, although you're doing the same course and you're doing the same exams and you're going to be exactly the same as a law graduate. It's quite difficult. You're working full time and you're trying to fit in a part-time degree and you prep for your solicitor qualifying exams and just your general training and getting into the firm. It's a lot of work. So I think organisation is definitely key. I'm a big fan of writing lists. So at the end of every day, I'll write a list of what needs to be done tomorrow. It doesn't always get ticked off. You're always adding stuff to your list, but it just makes sure that you know what's about and you know what you need to be doing. And also when you're working in the firm, I think organisation in terms of your actual file. So make sure that you're filing, you're prioritising what's important. Don't just do the easiest task because it's easy and get rid of it. Make sure that you're sticking to what's important and following it. I also think a big one, especially when you first join a firm, whether you're an apprentice or a trainee, is to make sure that you understand what the person is asking you to do. So if a solicitor or anyone in the firm comes up to you with maybe a memo and says, I've got a research task for you, can you do this? I need it on my desk by the end of tomorrow. make sure that you understand what it is that they're asking you, because it saves you time, because you're going to have 1,000 other memos from other people. Saves the person that's asking you time, rather than them getting annoyed with you that you've spent hours researching this one thing and it's actually not what you were asked to do. So if you don't know, just ask. Make sure you fully understand. And also in terms of legal drafting, I think make sure that you're getting to the point and you're being concise. Before I joined Hallett, so I was a bit of a rambler. When it came to like essays at school and things like that, that was always my downfall, to just ramble on and on and on about things. But I've definitely learned since doing my uni course and also working at Hallett is to be concise. The solicitors want you to get to the point when you're writing a letter to a client. Don't ramble on, because it wastes everyone's time. You don't want to be overcharging a client. That's a big no-no, because you spent hours writing a letter on something that's irrelevant. Make sure you're concise, getting to the point, and you explain legal terms. I think that's a big one with drafting. Don't go and pretend that you're, a high quality solicitor and you know what you're talking about, and chucking all this legal jargon into it, because the solicitors won't like it. Be concise, get to the point, and make sure that it's relatable to your client. I think those would be my big tips.
Yeah, definitely. You said, it must be quite busy trying to balance out a law degree and your work as well. So something that like people really want to know, as well as links in quite nicely, is how do you balance out your work life, your study life, your social life, all in
Yeah, it is a very difficult task. Definitely something that I underestimated before I started. Before I started first year, we actually had advice from the older apprentices that said, look, this is really difficult, there's a lot of reading to do, make sure you're committed, make sure you're organised, and you kind of take it on the chin and you're like, yeah, I can do that, it's fine. But it is difficult, so you have to make sure that you're organised, both in work and in your own private life. And you have to make sure that you're prioritising your work. That's a big thing that would help you balance out everything. So maybe all your friends are going out at the weekend and they're going out all weekend, and you've got loads of essays to write. So make sure you're taking a break and you go out and you see them for maybe one day at the weekend, but prioritise your work first. And I think if they're your true friends and family, they'd understand that you can't make everything because you've got other commitments. But like I said, making sure that you make time for your social life is really important. If you're just working 24/7, so you're going to work and you're working really hard in your firm, and then you're coming home and you're studying all evening and you're studying all weekend, it's not good for you. I made that mistake in the first year, and then I found myself quite run down at the end of the year, and I felt a bit deflated because I hadn't socialised with my friends and family as much as I wanted to. And also your brain switches off after a while. If you're reading constantly, your brain doesn't take it in. So I make sure that you definitely prioritise your work, but also prioritise yourself and make time for yourself. And also trying to balance it. I think it's important that if you are struggling, to tell someone that you're struggling, whether that's your friends or family, whether that's a university, whether that's work. It might be a simple fix as like the uni needs to give you an extra day for your assignment, just for a few weeks, and that works out for you. Or it may be at work that you're struggling and it's because you're not fully understanding what they've asked of you. So maybe they need to word things better for you, or you need to take things in a bit better. So there's always ways around it that can help you, and in the long run, that'll help you organise your work and keep structured. So yeah, definitely make sure you're prioritising yourself as well as your work.
Definitely. Well, I think that helps so many people think about a route that they never once before knew about. So I'd like to, on behalf of Legal Amity as well, I'd like to thank you for your time for today's interview, and I'm sure it's helped so many people.
Well, thank you for having me.
No worries. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.